KAVU 25, News Now at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Adam Seibel. The League of United Latin American Citizens hosted a press conference with Susie Escobedo's family in Seadrift. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick attended the event this morning.
No more silence.
The Rodriguez family wants answers, and the League of United Latin American Citizens plans to help. LULAC's president, Dr. Sergio Lira, says this case is important because Susie Escobedo's disappearance caused a ripple effect on her family's mental health.
5 years is a very long time for any family to suffer such a tragedy, but also to find out now that the brother also succumbed to the loss of his sister. That makes it more impending that we come and support the family. There is no greater loss than the loss of a loved one.
We are constantly looking for answers. We need
Calhoun County Sheriff Bobby Vickery spoke at the press conference. He promises the sheriff's office continues to work hard on this case. However, some of Susie's family challenges this claim. The Rodriguez family wants to feel more included. They do not want.
They can say certain things to the family, at least keep in touch with them and let them know that we're working on it and keep close contact with them and keep them hopeful. And I believe they just have not been able to do that. But I think after today, with everyone in the media exposure, that they're going to be on top of it.
LULAC and Susie's family will continue to fight for closure. Calhoun County Sheriff's Office says they will pitch in. Reporting in Seadrift, Adarius McCormick, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
It's been 5 years since Seadrift woman Susie Escobedo has been missing. So here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code to vote on the screen right now. Were you aware of that missing person case of that Seadrift woman, Susie Escobedo? Looks like 73% of you say yes, you were aware of that case, and 27% say no, that's new to you. Well, thank you for voting, and come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. ERCOT has extended a weather watch for a second straight week. ERCOT extended the weather watch through next Friday, August 18th. The extension due to 100+ degree high temperatures, higher electrical demand, and the potential for lower reserves. ERCOT says power grid conditions are expected to be normal during a weather watch. All right, we're going to go ahead and check in with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Howie Gordon to see what the rest of your week will look like. Howie, any chance of rain or just more of that heat that we've gotten used to?
Adam, believe it or not, we're going to have some of our best chances in a long time, maybe in the early part of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday, which I will touch on in my full forecast. Yes, maybe a touch cooler, but maybe some rain chances as well. But you wouldn't think so right now, because just a few moments ago, we were still at 115 here in Victoria in terms of real field temperatures, and really just a scorcher across the area. Relief might be in sight, but that's, again, after the weekend. We'll touch on that coming up in my full forecast in just a little bit, Adam.
All right, thanks, Howie. The National Weather Service issued excessive heat warnings for 2 area counties, DeWitt and Lavaca counties, under excessive heat warnings from noon until 9 p.m. tonight. The National Weather Service says heat index values are up to 113 degrees are expected. Monday and Tuesday, Ben Wilson Street will close between Airline Road and Red River Street so that crews can begin erecting a clock tower at UHV. All businesses and homes in the construction zone will remain accessible. The construction is part of the $7.2 million Ben Wilson Street, Airline Road to U.S. Highway Business 59 project. Some more road construction. The Loop 463 bridge widening project will continue with nightly road closures on Zacklands Parkway from U.S. Highway Business 59 to Lone Tree Road. The closures start next Monday night at 7 and will run through next Tuesday morning at 5. Police in Minneapolis are investigating a mass shooting that left 1 person dead and at least 6 others injured during a backyard gathering. This happened last night, Friday night. Investigators say a group of people were outside when 2 people ran from an alley and opened fire. A man in his 30s died from his wounds. Another man was critically hurt. The other 5 victims suffered minor injuries. Police are still looking for the shooter and trying to determine a motive for the attack. Wildfires across Hawaii now is the deadliest natural disaster in the state's history. At least 80 people have died in the fires, many residents forced to evacuate with only a few minutes warning. Their homes now completely gone. Firefighters continue to battle the flames as FEMA is on the island assessing the extent of the damage.
You just want to see what's left, but nothing.
Nothing. All gone.
In West Maui, a new wildfire broke out overnight, forcing residents in Ka'anapali to evacuate. Hawaii emergency management records show there were no warning sirens alerting people to evacuate. Instead, alerts went to cell phones, TVs, and radio stations. But power and cellular outages limited their reach. Kessa Stoddard and her family lost their home.
No warning. We are supposed to get, on your cell phone evacuation notices, alerts. We got nothing.
The flames also tearing through this Kula neighborhood. Akani Joseph's father spent decades building this multi-generational home. It's now completely gone.
There's things you think you'll always have. Like things you think you'll give to your children.
The community coming together to help, some taking to the water to bring in supplies to those stranded. Nurse practitioner Natalie Plotkin hoping she can help.
We're going to go down to Mala. We heard there's some people down there that have a lot of burn wounds, so we're going to go check it out.
And the Cajun Navy, known for its work during disasters along the Gulf Coast, now in Maui.
People think it's the fire or the flood or the tornado. It's really the crisis and the aftermath, and that's what we're here to do, is to look after the people, really the elderly.
FEMA is providing federal assistance, but keep in mind the lack of power, communication, internet is making it so difficult for families to reunite with loved ones that are missing. Melissa Adan, ABC News, Maui.
For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can submit a local military hero so we can recognize them. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, the 2024 GOP candidates, including former President Trump, mingling with voters at the Iowa State Fair.
It's going to be hot. The Atlantic is pretty quiet in terms of storm activity. Different story out there in the Pacific. We'll touch on it coming up in just a little bit.
Voice your vote. 2024 GOP candidates, including former President Trump, were mingling with voters at the Iowa State Fair just 5 months until the first in the nation caucuses. This as President Biden, who's seeking a second term, continues to face scrutiny over his son Hunter. On Friday, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed David Weiss as special counsel in the investigation over Hunter's tax fraud and gun charges.
That's what I'm talking about. You got the butter cow.
The 2024 Republican presidential hopefuls converging on the Iowa State Fair this weekend.
It's a beautiful day in Iowa, but there's a record crowd. They've never had anything even close, so I'm very happy by it.
More than a dozen candidates visiting the Hawkeye State, flipping pork chops, enjoying the rides, and talking politics.
And if you're going around saying that, which I agree with, that Biden is doing a bad job and the country's going in the wrong direction, I think you have a responsibility to do everything in your power to ensure that he doesn't get 4 more years.
And taking their pitch directly to voters.
I don't have time for the theatrics. What I do have time for is the American people and making sure we get our country back.
5 months out from the Iowa caucuses, Donald Trump still has a commanding lead, though he's facing numerous indictments.
All these indictments, he's never going to live it down.
Republicans are looking to turn the focus away from Trump investigations and onto Hunter Biden. As President Joe Biden seeks re-election, his son facing legal challenges of his own. Attorney General Merrick Garland naming Trump appointee U.S. Attorney David Weiss of Delaware as special counsel, giving him independent oversight over his years-long investigation into the president's son.
Mr. Weiss has the authority he needs to conduct a thorough investigation and to continue to take the steps he deems appropriate independently.
Garland's decision comes after a plea deal between Hunter Biden and prosecutors collapsed last month. In court filings, Weiss tells the judge the two sides are at an impasse in plea negotiations, signaling the president's son may soon be headed for trial. Hunter Biden's attorneys have until Monday to respond. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, Washington.
District 30 Representative Jeannie Morrison is serving her 12th term in the Texas legislature. Representative Morrison stopped by our studio Friday and says that after a few special sessions this year, more work awaits. The special session is expected to begin sometime in October, called by Governor Abbott to address and work on and pass a school choice program, which would make public funds available to parents to help pay for private school tuition. Representative Morrison says she supports the idea of school choice, but doesn't want to see money taken away from public schools, but rather give parents and students options for what best suits them regarding their education. We also asked Representative Morrison about the controversial buoys at the border.
Border security is the federal government's responsibility, not the state's responsibility. The federal government has not done anything. And so Texas has been putting money into border security for numerous legislative sessions. This last session we put in over $3 billion. The hard thing for me is it's a very difficult issue because you do have people that are trying to escape from a country that they're being oppressed from. They don't have things for their children, but they're told things by the cartel of how they can come and they'll be taken care of and it's free, and then the cartels take money from them, and then the journeys of sometimes waiting for months and get to Mexico, and then they're robbed of their money. Things are happening to them. It's just a very sad situation because they're looking for some place that's good for them. But also, the United States cannot take all of those that are coming over because, we have a responsibility for health care and for school and all of that. And so it's a big burden, but it's a very difficult emotional issue.
Mexico's president has condemned the buoys, calling the border enforcement tactic on the Rio Grande, quote, inhumane, after bodies were found in the waters that flow along the U.S.-Mexico border. The Department of Justice has sued the state of Texas and Governor Abbott over the buoys in the Rio Grande, part of Abbott's major border policy, Operation Lone Star. Asylum seekers are continuing to be sent to New York City with high hopes of a better life, but are finding obstacle after obstacle instead. A new group of migrants arrived in the city and were spotted outside the Roosevelt Hotel. New York City Mayor Eric Adams on Wednesday renewed his appeal to the federal government to help the city avert a budgetary crisis as expenses mount due to the influx of people coming from the southern U.S. border. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security recently dispatched a small team of New York City to help determine how the federal government should respond. And the federal government has so far promised the city $160 million to help. Since the spring of 2022, nearly 100,000 migrants have arrived seeking shelter. Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus.
Ooh, it's hotter than a firecracker on the 11th of August. Wait, what is today? Today's the 12th. On the 12th of August. Sorry about that. See you in a few minutes. All right, so above average temperatures. What else is new? Heat indices 115 plus. We were 115 just a few moments ago. Now, believe it or not, we could be cooler with rain chances. I'm going to explain all that over the next 2 to 3 and 4 minutes. But here is what we're dealing with for today. So 101, not even a record. We were 104 back in 1930. So we've been steadily about 5 or 6 degrees above average, but then the real field temperatures, a whole different ball game. Now, what's going on? We have high pressure to the north, high pressure out in the Gulf, and then we also have some boundaries further off to the north in northern Texas, or just out of reach of the state. And what does that mean? All that tugging, we're seeing 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts, which is very good. Again, when it's hot, we have those winds, but with humidities on the lower side at times, all the dry vegetation and these strong winds, that creates fire weather problems. So again, if fires do start up, they can spread and get out of control very rapidly. You want to be very, very careful out there when these winds are gusting and the humidity levels are as low as they are, with everything on the very dry side. All right, extensive heat warnings, heat advisories going until 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. Again, temperatures hovering around 115 in portions of the viewing area. Let's get right to it in a second here. Dew points, yeah, mid to upper 70s, lower 80s along the coast. Excuse me, that translates right into this. A few moments ago, Victoria was at 115. We're still at 114 over there in Cuero. Hallettsville at 109, so really 105 or above pretty much throughout the area. You get up there, Gonzales, Nixon, and Karn City, we're looking at 113 and 114 for those real field temperatures. And for those of you keeping track out there, for the heat indices temperatures, or heat indices. Heat index, heat indices. Okay, here we go. Future maximum heat index or heat indices. Here's what we got. Yeah, pushing 113, 112. Now, what's going to happen? High pressure is going to back off, and then moisture and storms will move close. That should amp up our heat indices, but the ambient temperatures might go down if we get a little bit of cloud cover that'll block out some sunlight. Here's what we have. High pressure in the plains, high pressure in the Gulf, storm activity kind of north of the high. What's going to happen? The high is going to start to move off to the west. As it does that, the edge, the periphery, the right edge or periphery off to the west of the storm, or east of the storm, excuse me, that's going to allow for moisture to start pushing close. You see the bubble of protection moves away, and then this moisture kind of follows. That could open up the door for potential showers maybe Tuesday and into Wednesday. I'm keeping it at 20 to 30% chance, so it's not getting all crazy just yet about it. But hey, that'll be our best shot at some rain in a long time around here in South Texas. 92 for that water. Bays will be on the choppy side with seas 2 to 3 feet. Nothing going on in the Atlantic. Now, here's what we got. We have a depression that just formed. We have a disturbance out there in the middle of the Pacific. And then we have another disturbance. But hey, this is pretty much where Dora started out here and pretty much went all the way across the Pacific Ocean basin. And here it is. It crossed the international date line. And now this was a hurricane, now a typhoon Dora over there. And look at it. Still a Category 1 hurricane. Should break up. But hey, it's been gone over 5,000 miles this evening in the 80s. Overnight dropping down to 79 under mostly clear skies. Still a little bit on that breezy side. Then 101 for tomorrow. Heat indices pushing 110. Winds gusting away to about 20 miles per hour. And looking ahead, I talked about it. Our best shot will maybe be Tuesday, Wednesday. We could see some cloud development and maybe some rain activity. But again, we're keeping it on that 20 to 30% chance while temperatures still stay around 100 and heat indices pushing 110 plus. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com, and that is free with any Android and iPhone. And now we go to Sports with Zach.
Thank you, Howie. Well, Crossroads Football Live coming up in 2 weeks, but we got to see two teams in action last night. Coming up in sports. We are just 2 weeks out from the start of high school football season, but for now, we've got some scrimmages. At Goliad High School, the Refugio Bobcats and Goliad Tigers went at it, and this would have been a great game, let alone a scrimmage game. Great catches, hard hits, even some chippiness out on the field last night. Both of these teams have high hopes for this season. The Bobcats looking to make it back to the state title game and win another state championship. Goliad as well, but they have a bit of a quarterback controversy, but still have high expectations. Both teams on defense look great overall. Well, Justin Verlander made his home debut for the Astros this season last night, but that's not even the coolest storyline of the game. John Singleton, who was a top prospect for Houston 10 years ago, has fought his way back to the big leagues in his first home run since 2015. But wait, it gets even better, because Singleton would do it again. He goes yard twice, 5 RBIs in 2 at-bats helped Houston to an 11-3 victory. Also gets Verlander the win in his 500th career start. The Astros take on the Angels again tonight. First pitch was at 6:15. The Rangers last night in San Francisco had hardly any offense going for them. Luckily for them, though, they made the most of it. A solo shot into McCovey Cove gives Texas a 1-0 lead, and the next batter saw the same result. 2 solo homers were all the offense the Rangers needed to back the outing of starting pitcher John Gray. He went 7 innings of 2-hit baseball to go along with 7 strikeouts. They get San Francisco again tonight at 8:05. The Texans took on Bailey Zappi and the New England Patriots in Foxborough on Thursday. Former Houston Cougar Tank Dell made an unbelievable juggling catch in the end zone, looking like a future star in Houston. They are hoping to make a little bit more noise this year. Now, the play of the day yesterday was in Detroit from their special teams unit. This punt return was 95 yards. A couple of incredible spin moves and a sea of blockers was all he needed to go down the sideline. The Lions would come all the way back to win 21-6. And in Dallas today, the Cowboys playing host to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cooper Rush in the first half went 10 of 12 for 83 yards with no touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence on the other side, 5 of 6, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's it for your sports. Adam, back to you.
All right, thanks, Zach. Keep it here. Coming up, it's time to celebrate youth across the globe, August 12th, because today is World Youth Day. Scan this QR code. That's a quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can watch us anytime, anywhere, get breaking news alerts and vote in our viewer polls, and submit news tips and photos, and you'll know all about ongoing contests. It's time to celebrate the youth across the globe. That's because today, August 12th, is World Youth Day. The day was created by the United Nations 22 years ago. In addition to celebrating the world's youth, it aims to raise awareness of the challenges they face. They include poverty, lack of education, health care, and opportunities. Concerts, workshops, and cultural events are held to mark the day each year. To promote the day, you can post to social media, #YouthDay. Well, hopefully, a great day. I would say a great day to go outside in the park, but maybe a little hot for that. Maybe they should wait till the evening to go outside.
Oh, all summer long.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad it's a great cause. It kind of looked like Bonnaroo, kind of looked like like a huge concert. It looked fun. It looked fun, but it's a great cause. Weather-wise, during the day, very much on the hot side. Here we have 109. Just a little bit ago, we were at 115. Still 111 across a good portion of the viewing area. So that oppressive heat is still here. Now, I talked about it. We might get some relief. We'll get in there in a second. This evening we'll be in the 80s. Overnight, dropping down to 79 degrees. And then for tomorrow, here we go. Back to us, I guess. That's it for weather.
All right. Thanks, Howie, and thanks, Zach. And thank you all for watching. Have a great evening.
I thought I...